So a very good evening, everybody. I'm very happy to welcome you all to another webinar as part of the CIIC webinar series. Participants, if you can hear me and see the presentation clearly, I would request you to show a raise of hands so that we can reconfirm and move forward. Okay, thank you so much, participants. You can lower your hands. So for today's session, we have with us Mr. Abhishek from Aindra Labs. He is one of the CIIC incubators and runs Aindra Labs based out of Bangalore. Before we move into the session, I'll be giving a short introduction about CIIC and an introduction about the speaker for the day. So about CIIC is Crescent Innovation and Incubation Council. We are a startup incubator based out of Crescent University in Chennai. Currently, there are over 40 incubators at the facility, and our larger motive is to support startups with funding, mentoring, and other incubation services. At present, our startups have been able to raise over 1 crore in terms of government grants, which we have enabled from our end. And also in terms of private equity and independent investments, they have been able to raise over 39 crores. Our thrust areas are life science and industry 4.0, wherein we have multiple experts over different geographies who can assist the entrepreneurs. And at the same time, being part of an academic institution, we do support student ideas as well. Moving on. So today's session is all about idea to revenue. So most of the people here, most of the audience who joined with us today are or would be thinking about their own business idea and would want to ensure how to commercialize that. So today's session will be all about that, and in the upcoming field, and rather a buzz field of AI, ML, and computer vision. So with us we have Mr. Abhishek Mishra, who is the co-founder and director of Aindra Labs. Brief profile about him: he's an engineering graduate from NIT, an AI entrepreneur and rainmaker with almost a decade of experience in product management, sales, and marketing. He's also an active member and program leads in different startup ecosystems like Startup Chile, TVS Accelerator, Taipei City, Hello Tomorrow Paris, and many other prominent ones in Bangalore. Indian and many other ecosystems in across the world. He represented Aindra Lab in different forums as a panelist and a speaker in computer vision and multiple other technology domains. A special fact about their company is it's a fairly young company, and they have been recognized by the likes of Gartner, which is a huge achievement in itself. Over to Abhishek for the session, and just a quick short instruction. So participants are sending the chat to all the panelists alone. Please ensure that you select the option of all panelists and attendees so that everybody is able to see the chat. And at the same time, please do put your questions only in the question and answer section. Otherwise, we may miss out on a few questions. We would love to answer as many questions as possible. Over to you, Abhishek.
Wow, thank you, Akshay. I can already feel the energy, and when you said raise of hand, I mean a lot of hands were there. I think that's brilliant. Thank you so much, Akshay and entire CIIC team and Mr. Parvez for Nisha and I mean to put this together. I think you guys are doing phenomenal job in this COVID period when everyone is very keen to best leverage the time that we have and can learn new things and explore new things. And there are a lot of people who connect with us, and constantly they are talking that what they can do it in the AI space and what they can, how they can leverage these skills and courses that they are doing and the products which are out there and libraries which are out there and technologies which are out there, but how they can actually use it for commercial purposes and how they can take it to the market, how they can make revenue, etc. So I think one thing just to understand here, we all understand that there are various sectors which are really impacted in the COVID time. For example, if we take about travel industry, if we talk about the transportation, the tourism industry, the hotel industry, I think education, I mean institution, they are all shut. I mean they are not working in their standard model. I think things are really taking a serious impact, and this is not a health concern only. So people look at it, this is a major health concern, but this is also an economic concern. This is no more an agenda of health and life. This is also an economic problem these days. So it's very important that there are certain fortunate sectors which are seeing a steep demand, steep attraction, etc. And that is what we need to understand. See, human beings are facing these kind of a barbaric times ever since we are born and ever since the human existed. So the idea is to, accept as fast as possible, realign and move on. So the more resilient we are, the faster we will be able to adapt. So today, I think we are trying to realign and understand pretty much in a very niche area, AI. And AI is like, again, 50,000 feet level. So AI is like 50,000 feet level. There are so many countless things in natural language processing. There are chatbots. There are predictive analytics. There are search engine, recommendation engines. There are facial recognition technology. There are machine learning tools. So of course, it is not pretty much possible to deep dive into everything. So today I'm sticking with what is my forte, what is our forte, which is computer vision and machine learning. So I would try to really deep dive into this, taking this technology and taking it to various sectors. So rather than keeping it theoretical, I after 10 minutes of quick introduction level, I think I'll directly get into case studies, because people come from various health tech industry, agri-tech industry, transportation industry, system integrators, budding entrepreneurs, big established company who want to leverage these technologies in their smart city projects. So how I have structured this entire session is in a manner that I explain technology, what it is and how it can be used. And I'm sure all of you guys, if you pretty much understand this. So I'm not going to talk anything on the technology front, which is something that you won't know. But what I'm going to cover is that, hey, how this technology is currently, as we speak, is productized, is where it is being used, is giving return on investment. So that's exactly how I'm going to do it. And of course, Akshay gave a very nice introduction. So talking about my company, I mean, it started off in 2016. This is my second computer vision company. Our first computer vision company goes by the name Aindra Systems, championed by another serial entrepreneur, goes by the name Adarsh Natarajan, who works in cervical cancer recognition using computer vision technology. So we are talking about some of the world's most complex problem to be addressed here when we are working within Aindra family. So let's understand what is the current problem at hand. So I mean, many of the students, they think that, hey, you know what, there are so many good libraries and things that they can build out of it, but how can they get return on investment? There is a good news for you guys. There are Fortune 100 companies out there, not only in India, but across the globe. I'm talking about Middle East, I'm talking Taiwan, I'm talking Latin America. This is where we actively work. I mean, these organizations are also investing heavily in the AI projects. And unfortunately, the idea is, when I'm saying investing, they are hiring more and more data scientists and things. And even though by hiring these expensive data scientists, they are not able to fulfill the gap which is there. And when I'm saying gap, the gap is related to the solution that they want to solve with this particular, the problem that they are trying to solve with this solution. So the problem solution fit should in an industry, I mean, it should be a very clear thing. If there is a problem X, if I solve this with my AI tool, etc., and investment is Y, it has to give me either it should save my time, 20% reduction, 30% reduction. Simple. If it is not saving time, not useless. It's not for use. Or increasing the productivity, increasing the outcome, increasing the efficiency. These two things has to be there. And when you are doing this, 90% of these proof of concepts are successful, but they are not seeing the light by end of the day, which means they are not getting into production. POCs, but they are not seeing going into production. Why? Because the cost of these POCs is becoming so costly. I mean, it either become unviable or if it is a very simple, shoddy basic libraries put together, it's just not solving that purpose. It is the accuracy of the system, the precision, the recall. I mean, all of those things are not so accurate. So when we are talking about industrial grade solution, it has to be accurate, it has to be reliable, it has to be precise. I mean, this is the table stake. No one negotiate that. I mean, no one even open for understanding that, hey, can it be done? So how do we address this problem, and how do we enable the ecosystem to really identify these business use cases, take the technology which is there, put together, and then solve those problems with these already available, ready to use AI models. Now, here's the thing. See, when I started off, there were a lot of good work. This I'm talking about 2012. A lot of good work which has already happened in this industry, but we have seen a significant rise in three areas. Number one, the infrastructure, the cloud cost, the infrastructure cost. I mean, all of them are coming down. They are getting mature. They're penetrating the market. Second part, the exposure and the awareness and the work which has happened in the AI domain, in deep learning model, what Google's and Facebook of the world, making it open source, the DNN networks and CNN networks, etc. And third and the last is the internet penetration, which is backed by these edge devices, sophisticated smartphone devices, which have a lot more compute than any of the most mature device 50 years back, right? So when all of these things are playing together, there is absolutely no need to reinvent the wheel. This is exactly where our Drishti platform, we believe in giving our ecosystem people, our entrepreneur friends, system integrators, academic people, ready to use AI model, contextualize for their use cases. And when I'm saying use cases, of course, I cannot contextualize for customer to customer, but can I contextualize for agritech? Can I contextualize for fintech? Can I contextualize for edtech, health tech, etc.? So there are ready to use models for every sector, which we will understand that what are these models, what all the work has happened, and these models are not, these R&D projects, not at all. Anything that we're going to discuss here is no research and development project. These are not academic projects. These are some of the leading industrial big names who are leveraging this. They're using this as we speak. So Drishti platform has ready to use object recognition model, incident recognition model, emotion and behavior analysis model, which people, student, academic, they can take it, integrate it, and go live directly. So how exactly these models have been giving various lines of products to our partners. So typically we work with a lot of academic people and partners. And when I'm saying partners, these are partners from Indonesia who would be maybe one CCTV camera provider, or someone who's already in the field force software, an ERP company, and or someone who's in automobile sector providing or some solution to existing automobile clients. Now, the key products which is off the shelf is facial recognition technology, surveillance analytics technology, and people analytics technology backed products, right? So these three line of products is backed by this computer vision technology. How exactly people use it? They understand what exactly these products are. Okay. Is it possible to learn each and everything about these products in like 1 hour? I mean, theoretically, yes, but practically, it is possible to learn. But when you're talking to people, when you're going in the market and you're presenting it, there are a lot of question answers, etc. So here in the outset of the meeting, I mean, I'm telling you, we are looking for the partners and academic people and students to work with us. And when I'm saying work with us, I mean it, which means that if you guys want us to come along with you and work on your project or some of your client project, we are very, very happy. And we are doing it. I mean, this is on the books. This is a session which is recorded. This is what we tell to our partners from Middle East and Indonesia and Latin America and Europe, that, hey, you know what, who's your client? I will come, we will come, me and my team will come, and we will do up to 3 meetings to ensure that that entire end-to-end thing is well understood, business proposition is well established and there is a problem, solution, product and market fit established. This is something that we do it for anyone who's interested to go to market, talk to people. We go along with them and we do meetings. And these meetings happens online. Of course, I do not come this thing. These are over the Zoom and Google Meet, etc. And that's how we do it. So now, how do we identify these people, etc. So and sectors and potential business potential. So before we come, which is the major part of this session, I would like to talk about the products itself so that you understand that what it does. So facial recognition technology is ability to identify face, verify face, and these products. I mean, and when I'm saying facial recognition, I mean we have been recognized as global market leaders in facial recognition technology according to Gartner. And if you Google, I mean, I'm not saying you Google it now, but you please write this: top facial recognition startups in India. You go it and you find the name. You will find Aindra Labs as one of the top this thing. And it's just not that we have built it. I'm no expert. I'm no expert. What I'm saying is we have been in this industry from 2012 when we used to go to IS officers, when we used to go to business people, and they would say that, wow, what a technology. But no, we will take it later. And now the paradigm shift has happened. And now with this, there is a steep demand in contactless facial recognition system. They are replacing fingerprint. They want to be there in the smart home systems. They want to be on the online platform where they can verify the students, whether people are joining, not joining, etc. So I think the trend has radically changed this time. And because we have been constantly working on this, which is why we have those small competitive advantages. So this facial recognition technologies, I mean, these are capability to do age classification, gender detection, sentiment analysis, liveliness detection. What is liveliness detection? I mean, let's say if you are doing facial recognition and I'm showing you a display picture, I mean, how do you ensure that this is a real face versus, a fake passport or photo ID? So that is something which is liveliness detection. Now, second line of product is surveillance analytics, where we leverage the existing CCTV cameras. Yes, we are talking about those 80 lakhs cameras or any photo capturing device. We support more than 40,000 Android phones. So typically AI companies, they are always struggling and whining and crying about two things. Number one, the quality of the data acquisition. And second, the machine learning algorithms need a lot of data for training. Now, which is why our patents in adversarial model, our patents in synthetic data creation, our patents in doing facial recognition on millions of faces, especially contextualized for Asian geography, it enables us to leverage those day-to-day CCTV cameras in Android phone. So when we talk to Hindustan Unilever Limited or Shoppers Stop or Reliance of the world, we just tell them, do you have CCTV camera at your premise? Let us convert it from plain dumb recording devices to a proactive AI-enabled actionable analytics device, which can do a lot of intrusion detection, suspect identification, security violation detection, license plate recognition, etc. So I think this is just to give an idea about the two powerful line of product which is available off the shelf. People, academic people, many students, they take this, they do a lot of research, they benchmark this, they understand what is the accuracy, and it's the student, it's the data scientist, it's the consultants in the AI domain. They tell that, hey, you know what, these are the ways that you can improve the system. And of course, I mean, these are all paid engagement models. So we are very happy to collaborate with people who can really beat the system, can take the system where rubber hits the road, and can tell us that, hey, you know what, this is where there is a bounty, and give me this bounty, and because I have identified this gap, this is where you can improve. So we are very open to collaborate. And now talking about these Drishti platform, which has ready to use AI model, object recognition model, how exactly our partners, entrepreneur friends who want to start up their business or have already started in the business are in various sectors, they can go to the client and upsell them, propose them that, hey, you know what? If you want this AI capability to solve this problem, how can you solve that? So now I'm going to go, quick, few minutes to spend on more than 9 sectors. So I'm going to cover how exactly AI is being commercialized in edtech sector, in agri-tech sector, in retail sector, in fintech sector, in FMCG sector, defense and aviation, and automobile. So I'm going to cover each of these sectors today. And when I'm covering your sector of your interest, I request you to imagine your potential customer or potential use case on your mind, because in the end of the session in Q&A, I would love to hear from you guys that, hey, you know what, sir, I know this particular industry can use it. So I want your queries to be aligned with certain, because I'm trying to stick in the purview of the topic, which is using AI for, getting commercialization and revenue. So think of who you're building, the target segment, the sector, the use cases that we discussed, the case studies that we're going to discuss. And in that context, if you have any doubt, can it be done? Can we do this? Can we work together? Feel free to ask. And can we go to the market? And of course, one thing which is on the table, which I'm going to give you today, is everyone who's participating today, they have luxury to take the experts from our team to their clients for not 1, not 2, 3 meetings, where we will ensure that we are working with you and we are understanding the end-to-end solution for your sector and solutioning it and doing it. So I can see some people are raising hands. So shall we take this up in the end of the session, or it is okay if we can take this thing? I mean, I would love to take it if they want to take it now.
No, the hand raise is, I think they would have left the hand raise on. The questions will share only in the Q&A section.
Sure. Sounds good. So I'll continue with these sectors then. So let's start with very simple edtech sector, because, I think all of us, we have come from educational background and we are aware of this. So with COVID kicking in, and the whole thing going at hula blue, we have seen a steep demand, the entire world is witnessing a steep demand in this online sessions and conferences and learning management systems, and assessments are going online. So how can you use these kind of capabilities in this case? Simple. You would have imagined probably half of you would have worked in facial recognition technology. It narrows down to simple identity verification. It is very important for every institution to ensure when they are giving you certificates, when they are giving you a degree or a passing certificate that you have qualified from one thing to the other, how do you know that the guy who appeared in the exam is the same student? So if Abhishek registered with his photo ID proof and his Aadhaar card, how do you ensure that it's Abhishek who is appearing in the exam? Simple. Leverage those existing webcam and smartphone cameras. Take a real-time selfie pictures before you enter in the classroom or anytime. So many of the proctoring platform, they are integrating these AI capabilities offered by this platform. They are taking it and they are directly integrating. I'm talking about case studies. I'm talking about leading names like Ashoka Pure Study. How many of you know Simply Learn? Simply Learn is one of the biggest learning management software. They give paid plan, unlike Coursera. Coursera is paid plus free. Everything on Simply Learn, mostly the good courses are there. So they want to really leverage this technology in a manner that, imagine that how our tutor, our tuition teacher, when they used to teach us, right, they will see that whether I'm focusing in the classroom or not, I'm looking into the on my notes or not. So how do you do this? These are behavioral patterns. How exactly? Because simply I keep hearing this thing from leading educational institute from Middle East. They clearly see students getting bored, leaving the sessions, and they are fiddling with their smartphones, etc. It's okay. This is not a policing software, not at all. But the idea is, if the content is solid, if the education is very good, that should be a way to measure that who is the teacher which is giving that beautiful content impressing everyone. So this is exactly when uh, identity verification to ensure whether indeed that student is present in the class, doing the attendance, etc. All the way till behavioral analysis, which is integrated into likes of Simply Learn platform, Ashoka Pure Study platform, and then lastly the assessment platform, which the assessment platform by government, by likes of CBSEs, etc., where they want to verify the candidate who is appearing in the exam is indeed that candidate. Okay, so talking about fintech and FMCG. So fintech is likes of your SDFCs and ICICI, and so if pretty much if you know most of these fintech organizations, if they are using computer vision solution, chances are they are given by us. So there's some of the big names like ICICI and SDFCs. I mean, they are already our clients from last 2-3 years. So how exactly it is being used in fintech and how exactly it is used in FMCG. So what is FMCG? FMCG is your ration, pani, tail, whatever that your bread and butter and biscuits and hair oil, and every supplies that you see, which we call it essential goods. These people, these are force behind the economy to take it from the producers and via logistic chain, bring it to the end customer's hand. So there are multiple people who are working behind these shows. So the idea is, how exactly AI is being used in FMCG. So ITC Limited, which is very big known name. I mean, they are using this very simple facial recognition technology to ensure that their employees, their field staff, their experts, I mean, they are indeed working at the right time and the right location. How? So you might have seen many enterprises are very finicky about this fingerprint attendance and then RFID based attendance whether people are coming in office or not. Have you ever imagined that, how is the way to ensure that field operations are also happening in the same reliable manner? This is exactly when our smartphone based facial recognition system, where all you have to do is, you download this application, these employees, they integrate this standard APIs, and these APIs are ready for any of this thing. You can do a free integration. You can take it to your end customer and propose it, right? So what kind of integration I'm talking? Do you need an identity verification integration? Take the API, integrate, and give it to the ITCs of the world, where they can ensure that indeed when they are taking a selfie, on field face and geotag based attendance is taken. You can ensure that indeed these people who are supposed to deliver, let's say, a healthcare facility or a FMCG goods, etc., can be there. And leading ERP companies. I mean, we have seen if there are people, entrepreneurs from ERP segment or Salesforce solution, or many people who are from those platforms which supports various kind of SaaS models. If they want an AI plugin, just an upgrade, they can just do this and bingo, you have this capability already in your platform. Now talking about fintech, right? I mean, how exactly the fintech guys, they use this Drishti platform. So we have been seeing banks, they're talking about a lot of digitization. So when we talk about digitization, right? So there is something what we call as KYC processes, and then there are a lot of identity theft problem in the BFSI sector. So we are working with one of the biggest depository banks, etc., where they can use it for KYC purposes. So this is what I'm telling. I mean, you trying to figure it out, which problem to solve, probably it will kill your startup or an idea. But let's say you are already working on the technology. These are some of those use cases where people are investing crores and crores, and there are use cases. How to identify those use cases? Of course, like so CIIC, where let's say if you are participating and you are incubated there, you'll get a lot of good use cases from there, where they are bringing industrial biggest problem statement and they are bringing the solution providers as us, and they are marrying us. So marrying us. So the idea is here, we are talking about KYC. So I'll give one example of KYC. So how do you know that the guy who's giving all the documents is the same guy who's onboarding? This is exactly when our system can be used, computer vision system can be used for verifying the, let's say, Aadhaar. Now, how would you verify Aadhaar? Do you need a UIAD integration? Not at all. See, There is an Aadhaar photo. The guy who's submitting just verify with selfie and the Aadhaar. Simple. Point number one. Point number two, character recognition, character pattern analysis. There are many organizations you would not believe. They are just trying to understand that does this entire Aadhaar and the way these characters are written, are they exactly matching with the standard pattern of the Aadhaar IDs? Because falsification can be of multiple reasons. And of course, banks, they directly take those Aadhaar data and they take the selfie, they use these computer vision capabilities and they verify. So essentially, you might laugh on this. Is it a big enough problem? I'll tell you. Pretty much every bank, some of the largest banks, they have an army of people who's doing this job, manually verifying photo ID proof and a selfie of the person, and they're manually checking. So it's a tremendously tedious and time-consuming process. Okay. So one of the favorite sector here is agri-tech sector. So we are working with agri-tech people and entrepreneurs where we can enable them using computer vision for various crop health, population mapping, crop stress analysis, photosynthesis, vegetation indexing, plant counting, weed growth analysis, soil assessment. And we are working with one of the Fortune 100 company from Latin America. So we are headquartered in Bangalore. We have one branch office in Chile. So we have been working from last 3 years for one of the biggest forestry company where drone images are captured, and these are multispectral images. These are optical images, where we are trying to identify certain predictable pattern across the color spectrum to understand what is the stress level. So hey, this is how it works. So there are already agri experts. Am I an agri expert? No, not at all. We have mentors who are agri expert, and they're telling this crop is not of a great health. So they tell this is of not health, and we ensure that our models are trained to map these unhealthy and healthy and different levels of health, health factor of the crop based on the color pattern. And using multispectral imaging, we can also get a lot of nutritional information, other information related to, and there are NDVI, NDRE. I mean, these are wavelength multispectral imaging with which we can do multiple such analysis of crops. Then comes very simple use cases. I mean, everyone is worried about the yield, right? So imagine, the previous one, I'll just quickly give you one of the agri-tech company from Tamil Nadu with whom we are working. So there, what they imagine is, see, in your village, there would be someone who would be very, very elderly. If he sees your crop, will he not be able to tell you that, hey, you know what, this is going to go wrong, this is going to go wrong, do this, bring this fertilizer, etc. Now, that kind of ages and ages of experience of one person, then I'm telling ages and ages of experience of collective multiple people, if all put together, trained into an algorithm, and that can be simply exposed via your normal day-to-day used smartphone, which is 5,000 rupees, which means that a farmer can capture the image of the leaf of the crop using their smartphone. The image comes on our platform. We understand that what crop it is and what is going to be their health in real time. This is first part is identification and monitoring. The second part, which is very, very useful to crop people, is prediction and prevention. So can you tell that, hey, because this is the analysis, this is what is the stage, what should be recommended? Now, I cannot, as a computer vision expert, we cannot recommend it, but we can tell that, hey, this is the problem, this is the stress level, this is the nutritional lack. There is already enough papers and agri universities, etc. I mean, millions and millions of data sets available which can tell if this is the problem, do this, this is the problem. The idea is that how well, how efficiently, how in real time, in day-to-day basis, when you're taking a farmer is taking a stroll, you're able to capture the images and processes and give all this result. That's exactly where it boils down. Okay. And lastly, of course, yield, I was talking about counting and classification. I mean, if you have a large scale farmland, etc., people use it not only for counting classification. One of the Bangalore-based farms, I mean, they were working in sugarcane. This thing. After the cultivation has happened, they were trying to identify a very particular kind of problems and classify them based on the nodal detection in the sugarcane. I mean, there are multiple use cases where people try to identify to take one particular kind of crop. They try to understand that what are the patterns, how can they do real time defect detection, anomaly detection, etc., and can do the classification and this thing. So this is that forestry client, Fortune 100 company, where we are doing a lot of forestry data analysis using drone imaging in real time. We are doing volumetric analysis of the trees, color-based analysis, and then all of these trees are mapped with various color-based pattern numbers, etc., so that we know whether they are mapped. So that's on the agri-tech part, and we get a lot of good entrepreneur and academic people queries with their agri-tech problem that, hey, you know what, can we solve this problem? Can we? So we are very open to work with the agri-tech people, and since CIIC specifically focus on health tech and agri-tech, we would be very, very happy to, you know, explore and you know, get onto a meeting with your end client or with you guys and brainstorm and commercialize these projects. So coming to retail, so in retail, it's pretty simple. I mean, likes of Shoppers Stop, some of the biggest shopping malls in Saudi Arabia. I mean, we are live in more than 200 plus CCTVs, processing 200 plus CCTV cameras for one of the biggest retail names in India, Saudi Arabia, Taiwan, Chile. And like I said, remember the point I said, using the existing CCTV camera. So when you are not going to your client and telling that, hey, I need this hardware, I need this setup. No, you're telling you already have all of these things. Take this simple EXE software, install it in your on-premise Windows-based system or Ubuntu-based system. It will process your footage from DVR and NVR and give you people counting analysis, age, etc., sentiment analysis. But question is, I mean, of course, since the session is all about what is the impact and what kind of things it does to retail thing. Of course, I'll cover this. So this is some of these glimpses, how exactly it can do people counting, crowd analytics, heat map, etc., facial recognition based identification of loyal customer as soon as they walk into the store, intruder detection in the night time, people counting, customer counting. Now how exactly it impacts? Okay, so it impacts in bringing situational awareness. Every retail company, they live on marketing. Okay, there are, you know, those beautiful actors out there, actress and marketing campaign, Instagram, TikTok, and whatnot. They are constantly pumping campaigns so that people come in their store and do shopping. Of course, in COVID times, malls are not open, but I'm talking about in general. The amount of people who come in the store, of course, they don't even buy that. It's a loss of business for them. These CCTV AI-based systems enable them to measure the extent of business losses that they have done. So it's like this. I am walking into a store where all I'm going, the retail stores like Shoppers Stop, Reliance, Max, some of the biggest shopping malls like Jeddah malls in Riyadh, Dubai, they are coming to know that, hey, in this particular zone of the entire retail store, people are not even coming. Why? Is it a problem of whether this place is very in too far-fetched place? Is the salesperson not good? Is the products and all the merchandise which is kept is not good? All of these analytics, and imagine this analytics. I mean, I can give an analogy, right? Google Analytics. Google Analytics is for online world. How many people came on your platform, on your website? How much time they spent? Average time spent per person, etc. Now we are bringing this to offline world. So if you are working in retail and this is the ROI, we have enough case studies. This is something which we can work together. We can work for your client and give them custom-based solution. I'm not taking that, take my solution and do it. No, let's work together. Let's understand the end client need, because it all boils down to contextualization and customization by leveraging whatever already there, what has been working for 10 of very similar clients. Chances are it will work for them, but it has to be contextualized. That's it. So we are working with some of the biggest smart city vendors like Bharat Electronics Limited, where we are enabling them to use existing CCTV camera, surveillance camera. So this footage, I'll just show you this footage. Yep, this is the footage. So this is your Cubbon Park in Bangalore. If there are people here from Bangalore, you know, I already got some WhatsApp messages that they'll be joining. So this was something that we wanted to show. This is Bangalore traffic, and where we are doing real-time various kind of vehicle counting, classification, helmet detection, And these are the things that people use it for various kind of three things. I mean, transport management, proactive traffic and congestion identification, bringing automatic challan system, identifying any suspicious incidences, people if they are loitering, and traffic congestions in real time. I mean, these are some of the things which big organization in developed countries are already doing. But when we go to the client, when we go to our clients, I mean, what they ask is, can you use my existing infrastructure? As a core AI company, two things which really excites our customers and why we are confident that we all can work together is by ensuring that we are leveraging their existing CCTV photo capturing infrastructure and time to market. Because by the time you develop things from the scratch, etc., no one is ready to give you money. I mean, if you have money from an Indian client, probably you have the best software. It's very, very difficult to get money. I mean, when it talks about selling product and making revenue in India, if you can make revenue in India, pretty much you can make revenue in any part of the world, because we just don't want to pay, right? Which is why we are trying to simplify things to an extent that no infrastructure investment. Let's understand what is the context, what is that you want to identify, and let's leverage this. And this is something that we are doing as part of number plate recognition system. So number plate is very, very common in academic this thing. So you won't believe there are TBs and TBs of data where people want to know that who are those vehicles who have done the traffic violation and can their number plates can be detected. And these are some of the samples where we are working with like various smart city, Chandigarh smart city, Belgaum smart city, Bharat Electronics Limited. These are some of the companies with whom we are working. Now coming to, last two sectors, defense and aviation. Now, so all of these, the previous sector which I've covered, agri-tech, ERP company, Salesforce company, for field force monitoring, for FMCG sectors, for retail sector, it's something that we must capitalize it. Then comes, and those are low-hanging fruit. I mean, if we are not already there in the market and we are not giving them what they want, it's probably already late. I'm talking about now the next good thing which are coming in defense and aviation. So we are working with Hindustan Aeronautics Limited for satellite image processing. Now, and these are some of the most, so this is not a commercial project. I just like to flag this. Every project that we have discussed, every product that we have discussed, all of these are commercial projects. These are heavily invested. There are industries who put it in contracts. This is the accuracy they want. This is the precision they want. And if they don't get it, that's it, game over. So this is something which is not a commercial, but this is something that we are working as a POC with Hindustan Aeronautics Limited. So what is the use case? We call it target identification. So radar across the border and within the mega cities of India, they can do detection. What is detection? If anything around 200-kilometer radii, if there is something there, it can tell you whether there is an object. But can it tell what is the object? No. So you would have seen in Bollywood movies, there would be a dot which would be glowing, which is what radar can detect. So whether it is for ensuring that, hey, you know what, whether it is a guided missile or a aircraft or a ship, very difficult to tell. This is exactly where we come into picture, and these computer vision based satellite imaging ensure that they are able to classify, process the satellite images and classify them the same. And I know certain folks from your university, Crescent universities, who have been working on satellite image processing. I mean, one of the very interesting use case was using facial recognition for people who are 30 and 60 kilometers away from them. So the algorithms are there. Now we are talking about marriage of a very sophisticated camera system which can do a data acquisition of such a far placed face and then doing this thing. So and after the attack on Aramco, the Dubai-based biggest world's by capital firm, I mean, there is a huge demand on drone detection and drone-based mission control system. So we are working with likes of GE Aviation to do various kind of flight data analysis, passenger data analysis, predicting the delays in the flight based on weather condition, traffic condition, and line of line. What is line of line? If an aircraft is coming from one particular busy airport and going to another one, how exactly the previous airport will affect the time to delay? I mean, you would have seen on those airport, once you reach, I mean, it will tell ETA, estimated time of arrival. So these are sophisticated machine learning algorithm which churns a lot of data and then gives this thing. And why are we working with GE Aviation? Hey, they have a team of more than big data science team, right? So these are one of the few niche problems which we are very fortunate to get. These organizations are so open to even bring in incremental change. So if it is 93% accurate, let's bring it to 95%, because it gives them the competitive advantage, which is why organization like us, we get to work. Now talking about another use case in aviation is maintenance process. So this is very prevalent in automobile sector as well. So that whenever there is a conveyor belt and if all the products are coming out, whenever there is a flight ready which is just about to take off, I mean, people want to do quality inspection of the entire body. Is there any damages? Is there any weld? Is there any debonding? Is there any corrosion? Is there any pattern variation from the expected system standard operating procedure? It can be flagged in real time and can be done. So lastly, I would like to conclude this with health tech sector. And this is something that our sister company, Aindra Systems, is working for medical image processing for detection of cervical cancer. So this is like, I mean, they are working in this from last 3 years, 4 years. It's very, very complex problem, very well funded by likes of BIRAC and same grants, etc., which CIIC also brings to their entrepreneurs and ecosystem network. There are this thing. So identifying these kind of a cancerous cell into a slide is like finding a small needle in a football ground. Each of these images are about 10 to the power 6 megapixels, and you're trying to find those small patterns. I mean, it is some of the most complex process. We work with leading medtech, health tech organization, cancer hospitals like Kidwai Cancer Hospital, Manipal hospitals, etc., and we work with them. So more and more, I mean, Google recently released their diabetic retinopathy computer vision based algorithm. I mean, many of you would be aware of. We were working on diabetic retinopathy with ITC 6 years back. So the idea is differences of today becomes standard of tomorrow. Now is the time when we really need to go to the niche segment sectors that we are working. We understand that, immediately pitch, understand what competitive advantage we can give, because the idea is the leveraging best of all the world. So if something is already there, take it, contextualize it, and make the revenue. So of course, I would like to conclude this by of course, one was the academic folks, where people can come use, beat the system. There are bounties, etc. They can benchmark our systems. They can see how is the accuracy and performance of facial recognition system. They can write to us, and by end of session, I mean, you will get the email IDs, and from Akshay, from this thing, I mean, you can Google Aindra Labs Private Limited. My name is Abhishek. I mean, you can reach out to us, and you can tell how exactly you can want to work. Now, coming to the entrepreneurs, simple. This is the time where we need a laser focus on to fight the pandemic. What is our role? We are giving the entire CCTV based analytics system to fight and to ensure the Fortune 100 companies and the big companies and the factories are able to fight COVID and bring safeties to their factories. We are working with Arauco, Hindustan Unilever Limited, various factories like shopping malls like Shipra. I mean, as we speak, back to back, we are going live. We are going live in multiple resorts and hotels and shopping malls and factories in Indonesia, in Middle East, in Dubai, in Taiwan, in Chile. How it helps, it in order to track in real time the overall people, how many people are wearing masks, what is curfew management if there are more than 3-4 people in that particular place, crowded together, what we call social distancing, glove detection, contactless facial recognition based attendance. Let me elaborate on this. So fingerprint has become a a taboo these days. I mean, no one want to touch it, no one want to use it. We are seeing a steep demand in getting this contactless facial recognition integrated into for factories, for replacing the attendance module, etc. Take it, go. We are looking aggressively for partners with channel partners, reseller partner, OEM partners, strategic partners, system integrators partners, so that we can immediately take this capability and go to the market. It just works in very simple way. Download it on your smartphone, and all of you guys who are here, we give you a absolutely free subscription of our application, where you can download this application on your smartphone, enroll your faces, and test the system and test the accuracy of the system and report to us. And we are very happy if your inputs and your insights are good enough. We would be very happy to work along with you. That's on the people on the academic part. For the entrepreneurs and for system integrators, we would like to take this and integrate into your ERP system, Salesforce system. And it's not the app or a redundant solution I'm giving. No, it's this capability which is exposed via standard REST-based APIs and can enable your edge platform, your ERP systems, your smart applications on iOS, on Ubuntu devices, on Raspberry devices, on your homing systems, etc., with these capability. And that's it. So second solution for which we are looking partner is CCTV Crowd Analytics, which does various kind of people analytics, mass detection, social distancing, and can be installed in various hospitals, schools, railway station to ensure that, the entire flattening of the curve, what we call, and we can replace that entire time consuming tedious process of manual inspection. And this is how simple it is to go live. Facial recognition based contactless attendance and integration, FMCG company, learning management system, edtech platforms, online classes, they all can integrate this by just using smartphone, web cameras, etc. All we are looking at is very simple 5,000 rupees devices, 2 megapixel kind of a smartphone or web cameras, etc. And on CCTV side, we can give various capabilities like group movement alert, intrusion detection, mass detection, and we can leverage existing CCTV camera and can do on-premise deployment. I'm not talking about what Amazons and Microsofts of the world they give. They are only cloud-based. No, hardware agnostic, on-premise solution, customized and contextualized for the best ROI is our key differentiator to give them real-time result. And what we call is AI bias. AI bias is, what works. So when you benchmark our facial recognition system, why we are global leaders, we have the largest facial recognition data sets of India. We have taken facial images from various Bollywood movies, Tamil movies, all different kinds of movies, and then build the data sets. I mean, we just have to be innovative and creative. So the idea is, can this algorithm give the same performance in Africa? Can it do in America? Not at all. So it's all bias, which we try to minimize in the training data. We have patents, we have research papers, and we look for researchers to work together. The entire engine can go on-premise. And I think Akshay already pointed out, we have been recognized by Gartner as global leaders in this thing. So this is my second computer vision company, which started in 2016. We have been incubated. So like CIIC, the world's best incubation cells are likes of Y Combinator and 500 Startup. So Startup Chile is top 5 best global incubators. We got incubated in Startup Chile program in 2017. Since then, we have been doing our global expansion and have been doing multiple paper publishing in Europe, IEEE, etc. And these are some of our clients. We have been recognized as top 10 AI-based startup in India, top notch in facial recognition technology, and top 36 AI-based startup across the globe. And these are some of the places we have been featured. We constantly participate in various competitive AI competition. And these are some of our key clients like GE Aviation, ICICI Lombard, etc. And the team, I mean, talking about team, I know that we are short on time. I'll just talk. I mean, Hisham is a serial entrepreneur. He was running a company called Faradin Technologies, which started off with him and this thing, and it went to more than 180 countries. His earlier startup is reported by Deloitte as top fastest growing startup by revenues for consecutive 3 years. After having a successful exit after Series B, he joined the forces with us 1.5 years back, and he's the CEO of the company. Rito comes from more than 20 plus years of experience, phenomenal guy. He's an IIT Kharagpur grad, and has done his MBA from IIM Bangalore, a man of experience who structures the entire enterprise deals, enterprise thing. So and we are very lucky to have some of the finest brain like Pramod, who heads our research and development, who's from IIIT Hyderabad, and championed the entire R&D with us. And some of our advisors are best brains. Adarsh Natarajan, who I talked about cancer detection product, that is Aindra System, and Adarsh is CEO of Aindra System, who's one of our advisors. Hari Narayan, he's from IISc and literally, I mean, All India Gate Rank 1. So these are some of the best brains who work from in India, and Mikhail is from Europe, again a PhD in computer vision and machine learning. So that's how I would like to conclude, and I'm very, very happy to take any questions, etc. And what also I will do is, I can give you my email ID so that I remember the promises that I've made, and I am very happy to partner. I am very happy to give the free premium plan for the facial recognition and CCTV analytics to students who want to experiment, test, etc. And that's about it. I think I'll just put it in this. So I think that should be all from my end. I think it was a big monologue, and I've been very, very happy to take any kind of questions or concerns, etc. Anything, and we can probably take it forward. Please, over to you, Akshay.
Yeah, sure, Abhishek. So, can you hear me, Abhishek?
Yes, yes.
Yes. So it was a wonderful session, and it's not very often that from start till end we have the same consistent audience. There was no attrition at all. So that's one very interesting thing about both AI and the speaker. So my appreciations for that. And
Thank
moving
you
to
so much.
questions, we have quite a few questions which have come in. To start with, the first one is what is training set and test set in machine learning model? How much data will you allocate for your training, validation, and test sets? Can you elaborate on this?
Oh, wonderful. I think that's a nice question from a research and development point of view. So the standard is, I mean, very frankly, any industry standard is 70-30 or 60-40. I mean, whatever is data. If you're asking me how much data is required for training and testing, hey, sorry, by the way, there are many people who would probably need a better context. So what is training data set and test data set? Training data set is with which you train a model that how a pattern looks like. So a kid who is born A for apple, B for ball, C for cat is being taught countless number of times in running letter, in pictures, in classroom, in TV, in rhymes, in poem, in bedtime sleep, etc. In various patterns, in various colors, and all of those is training data set. Once he has learned, and whatever comes, what comes to him is not exact same pattern. It's something else which resembles those patterns. So you need to test that whether the kid or whether the algorithm is able to now tell A is A or number plate, let's say a license plate recognition, because I see one of the questions on those lines. India is very dynamic when it comes to license plate recognition, right? There is no standardization like Dubai or US. So the idea is when you train for 6, I mean, 6 can resemble 9 or close to, something which is C, or it could go wrong in so many different ways. So this is why it is very important that you need to test the accuracy of the system on untouched test data. So if you have 1,000 images only, you have to separate in 70-30 or 60-40 model. Now, this is the separation. And when you take this test data in test, please ensure that you take it in pieces. Take the 10%, 5% or 1%, test it, see the result, and that's it. Stop. Change your algorithm, see how exactly where it is failing, optimize that accuracy, make the change. It has to be very tabular, very data oriented. I mean, as I so sacrosanct that if there are 30% of the data, let's say there are 10,000 or 1 million images, if there are 30% of data you have kept it for test, take just 1% of it, test it and see where it is failing, make your changes and see whether the changes that you have made on the same test data, is it giving you a better result? If it is not giving you better result, don't go and jump on the rest of the test data, okay? Because again, you will run out of it and you'll screw it and you'll go prematurely in the market with less accuracy and very shoddy product. So that's on test and training data. Yes, Akshay.
Yes, Abhishek. So the next one goes like, would like to know more. Would like to know your understanding on AI in the domain of architecture, integration of AI in building design industry, thereby keeping the impact of real world problems on practical terms.
Well, the architectures are all three architectures that we support. I mean, one is cloud architecture where the big organization, they want to go live in less than 24 hours, 48 hours. I mean, they'll tell that I already have, say, online classes, right? So these days, online classes, let's talk about Bits Pilani and Bits Goa, and let's talk about Simply Learn. I mean, these organizations, they are very innovative, very focused. So if they want to leverage this solution, they want standard API. APIs are hook points, which in their existing, let's say you're logging in Zoom, right? Imagine when it asks for sign in, it popped up the camera, it authenticates your face. So Zoom wants just a hook point, an API integration, and then you give the selfie and it authenticates. So these are cloud models, right? CCTV, I mean, analytics, if we talk about that, you just give this software, it gets installed on the edge, on local premise on a computer. It is reading that CCTV from the hard disk, DVR, NVR, what they call, and then it's giving you all this result. It is called on-prem model. So there are various organizations. The architecture depends on what is the customer need. In Saudi Arabia and Middle East, cloud models are not entertained. It is all on edge, on premise. So these AI engines are self-learning models, and many of our deployment, which we discussed today in agri-tech, defense, geography-wise, if I talk, definitely Middle East, all of them are on-prem deployment. Nothing goes on cloud because they don't entertain those kind of things. So these AI models, which is running on cloud, I'm saying certain virtual machines, certain infrastructure, the same infrastructure is established on local server, deployed there. We give them the licenses. You can give them the licenses, and that's how it. Then comes lastly, there is a hybrid architecture, which is cloud plus on-prem. So there is the data, which you did a lot of pre-processing there, and you gave some real-time results. For example, in banks, we do this KYC. So people want to know whether the guy who is giving this photo ID proof is the same guy who's onboarding. So in real time, we authenticate that. But there are other parameters that we check, which I'm not sure I can disclose it here. Once the data is this thing, and these are all based on algorithm, and these are some of the sophisticated data to identify anomalies in transactions, anomalies in identity frauds, etc. So I think, Akshay, I got to understand from where you're leading. So I'll just go on the next question. Is that okay?
Sure, Abhishek, as you wish. I'll be happy to help you also in case you need.
Perfect. So, sir, again, BFSI, bank, financial institutions, etc. I think I just repeated that KYC. So if you are part of the banking or BFSI sector, in this COVID time, we are seeing a steep demand in KYC, which means digital automated KYC processes where any kind of an identity verification, facial authentication can be done by photo ID proof, whether it is Aadhaar, voter ID, PAN card, etc., with the real-time faces. SDFC Ergo uses it for login, logout. I have never seen a very similar use cases again than that. So I'm not talking about any use cases which is one of the kind, right? I'm talking about something that generate, understand, go live. Simple. So then Soumya. So, okay, by the way, thanks Mithil and Tripuram for asking that question. And Soumya, coming to Soumya's question. Sir, please tell me more about entrepreneurship in the biotech industry. Well, Soumya, the idea is, here is the thing. The easiest, so entrepreneurship is tough. Those, celebrations and those gala things, they are very, very fancy things. Do not fall for it. I have seen, and you know this, 99% of the startups fail. Why they fail? Because they just get attracted to the glamour of this entrepreneurship. Don't do that. But if your question means that what I can solve in biotech industry, and it's not the entrepreneurship that you're a fan of, but it's the problem that you want to solve, the fastest way is look for Startup India program, look for biotech grants. They will tell you the problem statements. Okay, they will tell you this is the problem statement, this is the problem statement. There are standard problem statements available. Soumya, it is okay, and everyone who is want to start off in, especially in biotech and health tech, it is okay to take the existing problem statement. Number one, take every solution which is available in the market, available in open source, understand them, and leverage that to understand that why it is not able to solve that particular problem. Identifying that gap is where half year, 1 year, validation, expert interview, testing, market research goes off. You don't have to set up a company for that also. You do it, you identify that gap, and then you apply to these grants, these people, companies, very big companies in health tech and biotech, they are eagerly waiting to sponsor you. But you should be very confident in telling your approach note. And when I'm saying approach note, don't go and give away your code. No, not at all. That's not what I mean. Approach note, convincing approach note, and tell that, hey, you know what? I can do this. Give me a chance to do a paid proof of concept. I want to do a paid proof of concept. That's it. That is exactly where your entrepreneurship journey starts. Right? So this is how, I mean, don't get fascinated by entrepreneurship. Understand the niche problem. Don't jump to solve the solution. Understand every other 10 guy, how they are solving it and why they are not able to solve the way what is expected, and if they are able to solve, to what extent they are able to solve, and how complicated it is. If it is technologically very, very, very complex, do not enter into it, because it might kill your 2-3 years of your entrepreneurship. Okay, so start small, start fast, develop something fast, and do it. And when you do it, when you see people are talking to you, then take a bigger and bigger problem. I am not saying don't take big problem. The idea is on the very first day when you're born, if you would have tried to get into this conference session, opening the Zoom session, opening your Windows system, probably this would have looked like a rocket science. But because you have done those small baby step thing, first time you would have seen TV and then smartphones and then this and then these kind of a Zoom sessions looks like a simple thing. So start small, look at those grants. That's how you can approach. Thanks, Soumya, for asking that question. Very interesting. It helps a lot of people who are budding, who want to become an entrepreneur in biotech and health tech sector. I mean, biotech, health tech sectors, enough people, enough problem statement, and I mean, a lot of good problems are there. Hari Narayana. Can you also touch some aspects on navigation market, similar to Google Maps and navigation, if there is some improvement made, which place to go for marketing the product? So, and I think Harina, I mean, this is something that even we are trying to touch base, and it's very difficult. I'll be very honest. I mean, we have been struggling. So I'll tell you where the struggle comes, because there are two things. A lot of good work has already happened, and the other work which has not happened, you know, what people are trying to do is that, okay, hey, you know what? Entire 3D mapping, right? So when you do entire complete 3D mapping, the idea is if I just take you and close your eyes and I leave you in Istanbul in middle of nowhere, correct? You will tell, I see this vehicle, I see this building, I see this, and you can map that entire thing. But can you tell where are you? You cannot. So these are some of the things with the collaboration of satellite imagery, geolocation chips, and computer vision through this thing. I mean, marrying all of these things, I mean, we are seeing a lot of good things are coming in, and you know, Boston Robotics, I mean, Boston Dynamics or Robotics, I mean, their work is very, very mature. I don't think so. Even Google has done that mature work in the navigation space for imaging using AI, etc. I mean, Google Maps is, no one can tell anything about Google Maps. Google Maps is the best ever technology given to the world. I mean, you go to a new city, you open the map, it works offline, right? But of course, they have been doing it and they are getting significant amount of data. I mean, amount of data that you and me can't bear this thing. So the idea is they are using computer vision. They are also, that is why they have started doing street mapping, which was for the policy reason, which was not allowed in India. But they are using computer vision very aggressively for street mapping, for navigation, to understand that, hey, where to go, where not to go, the kind of hotels and restaurants that you see around, whether you need to go. I mean, those kind of a personalized aspects. So a lot of good work is happening. I'm not sure if I understand your question well, but feel free to ask the follow-up question and clarification question. I think this is the quick question, few more question. I'm interested in plate identification. Where can I find more info? Integrate Aindra Labs plate identification, technical and this thing. So, Rui, I think I will attempt to write something here. Well, okay, I can't write. So, Rui, I think you should contact us, and we would be very happy to take this forward. And my contact details can be found on from the website, Aindra Labs website. If that is okay with you, I'm very happy to do more
Abhishek, you want
technical.
me to type something?
Yeah, because I think Rui is asking for my contact details. So if you can put my email ID, that should be enough.
Sure, I'll do that.
So thank you, Akshay. Sarvan, thank you, Rui. Thank you, Rui, for sure. So, Sarvaran, is there any chance to attend internship at your company? Sarvaran, it's very good. We typically look at people not in a, so like I said, we work with researchers where they take the thing, products, papers, research, they identify, they benchmark, they test, and they tell that this is a gap, and this is how success-based model we work. So internship, I'll tell you, 2 months internship, 3 month internship, we do not offer because these are some of the most complex things. I mean, by the time you get started, your internship is over. So unfortunately, academics are not designed in such a manner that you can work in this niche sector. Yes, if you have been already working in this sector, if you have done a lot of work, etc., then I'm very happy to talk to folks, etc., who can tell that, hey, you know what, in 2 weeks, in 2 months' time, I can do this thing. Yes, the kind of internship that we do entertain is full-time internship, 6 month minimum or 1 year minimum, like of Mirma University give to MTech students. It's a mandatory internship. PhD folks, they do internship, and these are paid internships. So we are very happy to take that. So you can always explore based on your if you have already done, because if you just want to start everything into AI, etc. I don't think this is the best place. Probably you take the product, take the APIs, play it around, and tell me, what benchmarking observations you have found, and then I will help you to identify gaps, and then those gaps we can give it to you. And if you're able to solve that, we are very happy to give those bounties and incentives. Are you working on crime detection prediction? Yes, yes. So in the traffic, we are working with traffic department for various kind of suspect identification, blacklist people identification using facial recognition, where let's say there are lists of blacklisted people they want to identify when they are crossing certain traffic areas, certain enterprise offices, etc. So in real time, we are able to do that. Our idea can be seen from get me the code. We can discuss through mail. Yes, yes, Harinara. Sure, sure. Of course, Akshay would be able to share my email ID, and I'd be very happy to uh, learn more about this thing since you have shared a link with me, which now I don't see it on my chat window. I'm not sure where why I have lost it. I'm so sorry.
Abhishek, so I shared your email ID with him, so probably he
Okay,
can,
sure,
maybe write to you. Super.
sure.
So I
Sounds good.
think that's the end of questions. Yeah.
I think that's end of question. Perfect,
Fine.
perfect.
Okay. Thanks, Abhishek. So it was a very informative session. Looking at the questions, we could realize that, over the past 1 hour, people have got a lot of deep insights into how business and AI work together. And I honestly happy for the fact that you answered even a biotechnology question. So that's also something pretty good. So thank you so much, Abhishek. And participants, you shared the feedback link on the chat window. Do fill in the feedback link. It will help us understand and improve our sessions further. So again, once again, thanks, Abhishek. It was a very informative.
Akshay, thanks to you and your team, Akshay. I think it's an opportunity to interact with so many people, so many good folks. I don't think so. You should thank me. Thank you so much for this opportunity and your team effort and what you guys are doing. Phenomenal effort, phenomenal energy, and I see your mails and messages coming little late in the night. So I really appreciate the proactiveness and the energy with which you guys work. So Really, really happy for Parvez and his entire team. Thank you so much for this, putting all of this together amid COVID. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Abhishek. It's of course with the support of the audience. So participants, thank you so much for joining us for today's session. And once again, a very good presentation. And I hope
Thank you.
participants could gain a lot of information from this. So we'll connect yet again next week. And also we are looking at a workshop, full 1 day biotechnology workshop, which we're conducting on coming Sunday with a large set of audience. So please do follow us on Facebook to keep a track of the events which you're doing. And of course, I hope you are receiving emails from our end. So once again, thank you everyone. And if you permit, I'll end the webinar.
Sure.
Abhishek,
Cheers, guys. Bye
yeah,
bye.
okay.
Yes.
Thanks everyone. I'm ending the webinar now.